I'm gonna go live now, just so I don't forget.
Do I sound better?
Yeah, it's a little better.
Yeah.
We're good. We're going.
Let's go.
We're good.
We're live.
We are. We got chat up. We got everyone alive. Well. I'm gonna go live now. Probably subjective.
Alive and well? Well, we're alive.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not any crazy fever or anything now, so that's it.
Well, Mike's not alive, so that sorts that out.
Is he a deep seek AI?
He did. This is where we find out our third host has been a deep seek AI this whole time. That's how cheap and affordable deep seek AIs are.
Thank you, Deep Seek.
Sorry.
Thank you, DeepSeek, for sponsoring today's episode. And I guess crippling NVIDIA. The stat I read said that this was the most money that any company has ever lost in one day, like ever in the history of companies and money. But it was
That's awesome.
But like the last previous record was also NVIDIA right when COVID hit. So I don't know how impressive it is anymore.
And I don't know about when COVID hit, but I know that Nancy Pelosi sold off a bunch of her NVIDIA stock, like, I think literally last month. So
it's absolutely
another
right.
prescient market move from the former speaker.
It's crazy that I feel like she does more than Martha Stewart. Like, they should throw her in jail.
Yeah. They should be
For
sellies.
real.
Like, we're too soft on white-collar crime in this country.
Yeah, stop sending them to tennis jail and send them to fucking pound me in the ass prison.
That's right. Yeah, ram.
Gotta be more
Send the drug dealers to tennis jail.
That's what I'm saying. Just flip it on its head. All the, like, violent offenders that they love throwing in, like, the maximum security prisons, like, they should put them in the cushy ones and throw all the white-collar and cops into the Texas ones. I mean, you just said that. It's your joke, but worse. The classic riffing.
Yeah. Send them to the jail from HBO's Oz.
Are you back, Mike?
Oh, shit.
Okay, there we go. That one sounded in time. I don't know. I couldn't tell if you were, like, back or delayed or something.
Who?
Got a light going on? Can you hear me?
No, I don't know. That might be me at this point.
1, 2.
I heard that. I heard testing 1, 2.
All right.
I think you're good. Minute, I think sometimes you just come in as a robot for me. I think otherwise you're good.
I think it's fine.
Oh yeah, I just connected to my Wi-Fi, so hopefully I'm good now.
I forgot I had the stream up on stream.
Yeah, you sound good.
Cool.
I gotta take the stream off the stream. I didn't realize that's why I still had it up. We gotta get the current going. The most professional show ever, brought to you by DeepSeek AI.
Yeah. And Budweiser.
I'm doing my best here.
And Budweiser. That's fine. I think we can take Budweiser into the CCP America. I think they'd be all right with that.
Yeah.
Those horses were.
Oh, is there a big beer in China? What's
China's biggest beer?
There's got to be one that's like big.
I feel like,
right?
I'm not sure. I know beer is big in China. I'm not sure which.
I mean, beer is big everywhere.
Yeah.
Snow beer?
Snow beer? That sounds cool. I drink a snow beer.
Created in 1993. Never heard of snow beer. That sounds good as hell. I'm not putting this up on the one.
You'd think they'd have it at like a Chinese restaurant, you know? Like how like at every sushi place they have was it Sing Tao or whatever? I don't know.
There we go. There we go. Those horses. I feel like you slap a Clydesdale on that. Boom.
Yeah. Boom.
We're in America now.
Good ass beer, I'm sure. Every beer is good.
But there really is not a bad beer. The world's oldest beverage.
Yeah.
What are we?
It's all about.
I'm asking you guys, but I feel like I should be the one to know. What do we have planned today? What do you guys want to talk about first? There's been
I
a
think
lot.
we should.
There's been a lot happening this week.
There has been a lot.
I think we should do cleanup on the inauguration.
All right.
Yes.
So what we have for the I didn't really watch it. I did not watch a single thing. I only saw the clips of Elon doing the Nazi salute.
Yeah, I saw that, and then just like a couple other headlines. But it sounds like Charlie watched Fox News all day, so he's probably our number
Yeah,
one.
I had the day off, so I watched. Yeah, I watched the Fox News live stream basically all day. It was kind of awkward because they held it like inside, and I don't think they had like the timing down for like every event, so there was just a lot of like standing around. Like, it's one thing if the reporters are standing around, but there's a lot of just like Trump, like he was just kind of standing there for a long time, and I could tell he wasn't feeling it. Like, I think he thought the inauguration was mostly boring. Like,
Yeah.
especially there was one part where like they were in like the like Capitol Rotunda welcome area, and there like there's like a you know, the flute and drum band was just marching around, and Trump looked totally friggin' bored. So I don't know. It kind of sucked. It would have been better if it was outside.
Do you think he's like happy must the Nazi salute so that no one's talking about that? Anything else like that? It was inside. How big the crowd was.
Well, I don't know. I think Trump, like,
Because usually he's all about that.
even though he was bored at the parts he wasn't speaking, like, I think on the parts where he was speaking, like, he was really feeling himself. Like, he was doing, like, he was, like, really playing up the, like, stand-up routine and everything. And I think that, like, he's probably pissed off that the big thing people are talking about is Elon Musk doing the weird Nazi salute thing.
Yeah, I could see him getting mad about that. You know, I think his ego demands that just all eyes be on him at all times.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's usually what I would think. But you know, if it was kind of a disaster.
Yeah, I mean, that was just weird. Like, the most allowance I can give him is like he did it involuntarily, like where he was just like, this is what you're supposed to do at a podium, is like do the Nazi salute, but like even that's not very like.
He did it twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was wild. Like not even subtle. I mean, it would be more subtle if he hadn't literally spent the last like year just literally boosting and engaging with actual like Nazi propaganda and not even dog whistles.
Yeah.
It's like you can just see it. Like I don't know why it's even in contention.
Dude, apparently his like grandmother like emigrated from Canada to South Africa because of like how like gung ho they were for the Nazis.
Well, you know who has a really good series on like Elon Musk and his ancestry is True and On, that podcast with Brace Belden and everyone. I don't know if you guys listen to that. Yeah. They do a really good job on all that whole thing. But yeah, I don't know. He's like he's a Nazi. Like he remember when like he replied to some random like poster on Twitter who was like saying like Jews are replacing white people, and he just literally says, "You have said the whole truth." Like,
yeah. And he says it's like
that was crazy.
It's like every day he's doing that. It's not.
Yeah.
That was crazy. He did that, and then he went to Israel and like sucked Netanyahu's nuts, and then everything was just fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna stay here. You sucked Netanyahu's nuts. Don't worry about it.
Like just constantly.
And then what was even more wild was the tweet that the ADL put out after his Nazi salute. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah, it was bad.
I did see that. Yeah, they're like, "Oh, don't. It was just an awkward gesture, but thank you for being vigilant." It's like that was a fucking Hitler salute. Like,
Yeah.
what? I will give props to AOC though. She called them out on that bullshit. She's like, "Okay, you guys are making it pretty obvious who you were working for now."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we gotta say hi to Kober. What's up, Kober? How you doing, brother?
Hey,
What up?
We love Robert Kober in this chat.
this is a delicate moment. It's a new day, and yet so many are on edge. Our politics are inflamed, and social media only adds to the anxiety. It seemed that Elon Musk made an awkward gesture in a moment of enthusiasm. Not a Nazi salute, but again, we appreciate people that are on edge. In this moment, all sides should give one another a bit of grace, perhaps even the benefit of the doubt, and take a breath. Oh man, it's just bad.
I mean, these were the people that were calling student protesters Iranian-backed actors.
Right?
Yeah,
It's
they,
like-
they said wearing a keffiyeh was the same as like wearing a swastika. Like what?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, just putting out a statement like that is just wild, and it just goes to show like what they're really in it for. And that's the money.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Going full Israel.
Yeah. Vermin Supreme said we should just relocate Israel and Palestine into the U.S. Israel gets put in Texas, and then Palestine gets put in Wyoming. And I said that the newest conflict then would be the Jackson Hole people invading Wyoming, Palestine. All like the rich
I'd be down to
Jackson Hole
put
people.
Israel in the U.S. I think it would probably fit better. A lot of people in Israel are from fucking Philadelphia anyway.
Right?
Yeah.
There's a
But
whole
yeah,
spot
give
in
Philly-
between Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. You can just put Israel right in there, and they can hang out with the
Right there.
Amish.
Yeah, give them an NFL team.
Pennsylvania Dutch. Exactly. They already gave them
Oh, but
like, their own
You
Captain
don't want to
America.
lose against their team, or else they'll lose their shit, and they'll say that you're doing a pogrom against them.
That's right. Yeah, but like doing that in like the Midwest, that's funny. So they should definitely be allowed to do that.
It is funny. It's like how the Mormons picked Utah because no one was there.
Right, because it's
No,
there's like
that's Utah.
no water in a salt lake. Like no one's there still. It's still just like the Mormons.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of like outdoors people, I guess. There's
Oh,
like
yeah.
a clash between like people who go there for the nature and like
Yeah, Utah's
You know,
gorgeous.
to go snowboarding, and then there's like the Mormons. Like
All
apparently they
the-
have a weird rule: you can't like order another drink until your drink is like totally like gone or something. I don't know.
That's funny.
It is funny.
I'm pretty sure most of the like every time he draws like an outer space background in Calvin and Hobbes, I think he's based on Utah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was so funny how, and then the other angle people took of the Elon Musk gesture is that it was like an involuntary thing. Like at the end of like Doctor Strangelove, where he stands up and he goes like, "My president, my Führer."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like no, like he did it twice. Like he did it once in front of the crowd, and then he turned around and did it. It's like that wasn't involuntary. Like who does something
Because people are
involuntary?
like,
to,
it couldn't have been
twice?
a Nazi salute because the crowd didn't react, and it's like, who in the crowd was going to negatively react to that in 2025 with Donald
So
Trump?
he's saying, "Heart goes out to you."
Yeah,
I'm trying to think, how would I portray that to the crowd? My heart goes out to you.
right. But even
I'm trying
then,
to-
you're like grabbing your heart, and it's like sideways. And even
partially,
then, I think I think he's even done one where he's like chest and like heart. Like he's even done different
Yeah.
crap like that. He's always doing something weird.
I think the wildest take though was he just did it because he's autistic. It's like
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the most.
What autistic person is just randomly like sick Heiling?
Autistic for Hitler.
Which I don't know. Maybe someone.
Autisler.
Yeah, that one just feels wrong. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was
I do have
funny.
I do have the picture.
Melania's hat.
Oh, not that one.
She's wearing a weird hat.
There's
Did
the
you guys see
picture there
Melania's
at the
weird
bottom.
hat?
No.
Oh yeah, she's the Hat Man, the Benadryl Hat Man.
Yeah,
Inauguration.
she like is what happens when you take too much Benadryl. She shows up at your on the foot of your bed. She did look scary in that hat.
She
Like
really
you
did.
couldn't see. She looked like Bushido mode. Like you couldn't see her eyes. Like she was gonna take her katana out of the like scabbard and like slash you 5 different ways before you even like hit the ground. You know what I'm saying? Like
She's like Ed Harris about to like do something crazy to you.
yeah. But yeah, she
This
looked
was
cool.
super
That was a
easy to
cool
pull up.
look. And then Baron Trump.
Yeah, there's.
Speaking of sick gestures, you guys have seen that clip.
No, I haven't actually.
There's an awesome clip where Trump like shouts out Baron, and like Baron like stands up for like a whole minute, and he's just like doing like a royal wave, then like a thumbs up, like all the classic like Trump gestures, and he does like a cool like let me hear it thing. Like that was cool. I liked that. Baron's cool.
Yeah, a lot of people like to paint Melania as like a refugee in the White House, but like I like her as like an actual like evil empress. Like she's got swag.
Yeah.
To like the evil aura she adds to the White House.
Yeah, I mean, you know, her ultimate goal is to reunify Yugoslavia and then have Trump sit atop as the emperor of the Yugoslavian American Empire.
Yeah, like it would be cool if like if Trump died, God forbid. But it'd be cool if Trump died and like Baron became the emperor and like Melania was like Empress Dowager. Like that would be like cool. Like I would appreciate that.
So do you think? I think it's gonna, because I haven't tweeted about this. Like, I think someone's gonna stab Trump in the dick like Caesar. And that's going to kick off the Civil War. Like Baron, like Augustus, just steps up and like unites the country.
Yeah, that's going to be what happens after Trump wins his 3rd term.
Because like even after they did that to Caesar, like his main, like they like took his body out and they like reenacted the whole assassination in front of a crowd.
Yeah,
I feel like the fucking libs are definitely going to do something like that. If
they're gonna do that, and then like Trump's gonna get stabbed.
They're gonna like misread the room on Trump getting killed and think it's like funny.
Yeah.
Even though it probably is, but
wait, you said the libs are gonna stab Trump?
I don't know, stabbing Trump.
No, it's definitely gonna be
I don't know.
the rhinos.
Yeah.
He's gonna get stabbed, and then he's gonna be like, "Et tu, Rubio," and then he's gonna like fall over dead.
But it would definitely be some like millennial cringe stuff to like reenact his assassination in front of a crowd of his supporters like they did with Julius Caesar.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it seems more likely that like it would be like Republican infighting, because like I can't see fucking like Chuck Schumer or like some other like 80-year-old Democrat being like, all right, we're gonna stab Trump now.
No, they've already immediately started towing the line. Like they didn't even wait. Like
well, the
second they called the like election for Trump, they were like, wow, this is awesome. Like,
yeah,
like the flip from like Trump is the end of democracy to, oh, you know, another day, God still sits on his throne.
Yeah, you saw what Hakeem Jeffries tweeted, like basically on some like let go, let God shit. Like,
yeah, like you just lost the Super Bowl and not.
Yeah, dude, like this isn't a playoff game. Like you lost like you have to do something. Like you're the opposition. You can't just be like, hey, you win some, you lose some. You know, they wanted it more. They executed on 4th down. Like shut the fuck up.
It's like, no,
alert.
You literally ran 98% Hitler against 99% Hitler, and then are shocked people didn't vote.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Every
like
time.
at the end of the day, they're controlled opposition, right? Like that's why like they always come to the conclusion every time they lose, like, oh shit,
It's the
this is like
leftist
a man
working
feed.
class fault.
We only lost. What's that?
I said every time they come to the conclusion that it was the left-wing progressive working class fault.
Yes, yeah, they come to that
Yeah.
conclusion. They also come to the conclusion that like, oh, we just have to be more like our opposition to get elected, and it never fucking works. Like it never works. Never
Right.
works. Hasn't worked since Clinton.
No.
Right. I mean, we've said it on the show before, but the two most broadly, I think, successful movements amongst the quote unquote American left have been Obama, who, whether he delivered it or not, promised change, like material change,
Yeah.
and two, Bernie, who, you can make the argument that he was unfairly,
It was robbed. That's what it was.
they weighed against him in the primaries and everything, but those are the two most popular movements, I think, amongst the Democrats, and those are the only ones that actually promised any material change, and
That's it.
ever
That's
since then it's been diminishing returns on. I don't even know. I don't know what they promised. Like you said, Mike, like they
Someone said Kamala's like policies were all well written out and seen it. It's like, well, then why weren't they campaigning on that? Like, why wasn't that the message? Why is it just like it's more just like look at the graph messaging? It's like no one wants to look at your graph, bro.
No one wants to look at the graph.
No one wants to look at the graph. You if the graph is good and will make me happy, I don't want to look at it.
Nobody likes looking at graphs. I'm trying to think the last graph I looked like that I was like, good, yeah, I fuck with this graph.
Not when it comes to like real things,
Yeah.
It's a video game graph. I'm all about that, but like, that's not.
Yeah, those are fun.
That's not
You
affecting
know who loves
like
the
my
graph
rent.
though? The donors.
Yeah, the donors love graphs.
Yeah.
Think tanks, etc.
Right, because the actual purpose is to keep that upward flow of money, and that has never stopped, and that's why there's no real opposition to what's happening because the money's still flowing.
Right.
Which
that's right.
I'm not really sure how anymore. I feel like we're losing that end goal. I don't really know.
Yeah. I mean, but at the same time, going back to Hakeem Jeffries just saying like it's God's plan, like Drake style, like I almost feel like if the Democrats aren't gonna do anything material, like I almost feel like that's the approach they should take. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because, like, I feel like Trump and this whole right wing movement, I think this is it's going to burn itself out. Like, I think as long as there's not a cringy Democrat response to weigh against, like, we're going to see rising egg prices as Trump tries to buy Greenland, and people are going to get pissed. You know what I'm saying? So
I think it's going to end up being more of the same, where like, yeah, we get 4 more years of Trump, people are mad, blah blah blah, and then a Democrat wins, and then nothing happens for 4 years.
We get gruesome Gavin Newsom, and
right, and he just like is in power for 4 years, so no one has to pay attention, and then we have another campaign of like Republican populism and being like, look, the establishment didn't do anything for 4 years, and we're to repeat forever.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
we've been doing.
Trump literally like campaigned on nothing. Like at one point at one of his rallies, he was like weirdly talking about like Arnold Palmer's dick. It's like,
right.
That's how fucking shitty the Democrats are. Like they like just by default, like they're so bad that by default, a dude who just fucking rambles on about Arnold Palmer's dick just wins.
It's like even then, it's just about this short and direct messaging. It's like, oh, inflation's bad. We're gonna end income taxes. We're gonna do something with all the migrants in this country and say that does something to inflation. Like there's still like a call and response. Whereas Democrats, like, oh, there's inflation. Well, we're gonna do, and it's like stuff that looks good on. They're gonna tell you to look at the graph.
Like, don't worry, guys. The economy's actually doing good.
Yeah, like Biden added all these jobs, and it's like, well, the jobs. Okay.
You actually have more than you think you do.
Like most jobs don't pay enough, so it's like feel like more
People hate their jobs
yeah,
in general.
more jobs. That's not what I want to hear.
Like, oh, you added more of that thing I hate? Fuck
Right?
you.
That thing that
Oh,
doesn't
you like
support the
naming
I
person who
already
does
got
it.
one of those and I can't afford the dang eggs.
Right?
Yeah.
But, I don't know.
Like, dude, I don't know. So
It is just funny because, like, the Democrats could have had a good argument. Like, obviously there was inflation after a global fucking pandemic that fucked up supply lines for every goddamn country, and US inflation is nowhere near the rate that it is in, I mean, to the extent you have comparable countries, like, it's nowhere near that percentage. They could have said something like that, but instead they decided to just say, I don't even know. They were so off message with everything during the
right. It's because they don't want to. They don't want to say what needs to be said. They don't want to talk about like how workers are underpaid because they're still trying to argue for a $15 federal minimum wage. They're just it's
Yeah.
incredibly out of touch.
Yeah.
And the fact that Trump can come in and do all this stuff day one shows that if
Yeah.
they had wanted to even try to like tackle any of these problems, they could have been, and they just don't want to.
right. I mean, yeah. I mean, just look at his no tax on tips policy, and then also what was probably the most things I know we three as leftists, like, this was held over our heads the most was uh Israel Palestine. Like, how many times did we hear that if you think Biden's bad on Israel Palestine, like, just wait till Trump gets in, and then Trump gets in, immediately it's more or less over. Like,
Yeah, it's not like really over, but like even then,
it's
Yeah.
more, yeah,
it's
right.
more over
It's
than
more
under
over
Biden.
than it was under Biden. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, supposedly, what was it? Like I forget the guy's name, but like one of Trump's dudes, like his like one of his like set foreign secretaries or something, went to Israel. He talked to one of Netanyahu's guys. He's like, all right, look, we want to talk to Netanyahu. Netanyahu's aide was like, oh,
He's like,
on
oh, it's
TikTok."
Shabbos.
Yeah, and then Trump's dude was like, whoa, we don't care about Shabbat. We want to talk to Netanyahu now. And then Netanyahu showed up like 5 minutes later, and Trump's like, yeah, you're gonna stop this shit on Gaza. And he's like,
Yeah.
okay.
Which is what Biden should have done instead of
Yeah.
being like, oh, Israel's a sovereign nation. We can't do anything.
He didn't even try.
Oh my god.
He was
They're
just
not
like,
a sovereign nation. They're a fucking U.S. military base.
Right.
he didn't even try. Yeah, and that's how you know they can just stop this because it's all literally like contingent on us funding and arming them to do it. Basically,
Yeah. They can't really exist without us.
Yeah.
I don't think it's quite on the level of Ukraine. Because like Ukraine can, they just can't really defend themselves by themselves from Russia, which is understandable.
Even with the U.S.'s help.
Right. Whereas Israel is kind of just there, almost exclusively at our behest.
Yeah. It's funny. Like Trump was doing this like victory lap, like I brought peace to Gaza, and then he's like signing off on like allowing them to use 2,000-pound bombs again. So it's like, okay, this is definitely like a fake ceasefire that you're just using to make yourself look good for 5 minutes.
It's almost exactly like they did with Afghanistan and the Taliban, where he put the order to withdraw that would kick in right when Biden stepped in. And then Biden got credit for the withdrawal, but then also took all the flack for the Taliban immediately moving in because it really kind of
Right.
was like,
Yeah, I mean,
it was
the
like
classic-
hilarious how it just like, it was like we weren't even there ever.
Right.
How fast
Just
it
like Biden took Cuba off the state sponsors of terrorism watch list the day before Trump came in. And then Trump immediately took him back on. Or put
yeah, which is crazy because I mean the way you hear it, Cuba's either like falling apart and everyone's eating each other alive, or it's like the actual communist haven that we've all been promised because they're just doing all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Despite
I mean, they're
the
better
blockade.
than under Batista, and that's including all the fucking embargoes and shit. But that's a discussion for another.
Right? We could do like a themed episode, like Cuba. Just talk
Yeah.
about Cuba for 2
Just-
hours.
Modern Cuba.
That'd be sick.
Should we talk about some of the executive orders that Trump's been
Yeah,
doing?
so that's actually the first one or the only one I have up,
Oh,
is the executive order, at least for the birthright citizenship, because that's the one I made up last week. And then I put the 14th Amendment on the side because, well, no one's probably going to read it. I'm not going to read it out loud. There's a couple parts in there that I think are interesting and relevant to the whole situation beyond the birthright citizenship stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll get into that. So he signed plans to issue today an executive order, today being last Monday, the 20th, end birthright citizenship, a move that would exclude the children of undocumented immigrants from the right to citizenship by birth that is established under the 14th Amendment, incoming officials said on Monday ahead of Donald Trump's inauguration. The attempt to end birthright citizenship is just one of several actions the incoming officials previewed Monday morning. Among the 10 border-focused executive actions, declare a national emergency at the southern border, catch and release, resume construction of the border wall, and resurrect remain in Mexico policy from his first term that required asylum seekers to wait in Mexico for their cases to be processed, according to a Trump official. So obviously this is wild if he's just like can undo parts of the Constitution with the executive order.
Yeah.
yeah.
Which obviously... So, yeah, what do you guys think about all that? 'Cause that's a lot.
So,
A
with
lot.
regard to the birthright citizenship thing, number one, I mean, it's right there in the 14th Amendment. Anyone born and naturalized, I don't even know if it says and naturalized, but it says like under the jurisdiction
It does.
of the United States and subject to the laws thereof is a citizen.
Yeah, it's like almost
You know,
verbatim what it says.
and if we take that away, so if somehow this executive order passes, it doesn't establish who is a natural born citizen. Like okay, so if your dad, you know, is some motherfucker whose great grandparents came off the damn Mayflower and he impregnates an illegal woman, you know, quote unquote illegal, does that mean that kid has to go back? If, you know, like, this is why we have birthright citizenship, so we don't have to do all this like bullshit about like, oh, if the mother's great grandfather was born here, like, you know, like, it's easy. Like, if you were born here, you're a citizen automatically. I think that's beautiful. I think that's great, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, yeah, and then second of all, it's in the fucking Constitution. You can't just switch that around, and I think Trump knows that. Like, I think this is just something he's putting out there just to wear us down. Like, we're gonna spend all this time getting upset, getting like fighting on this, even though like I hope to God any court would cast this down.
I have faith in most courts except the Supreme Court at this point.
Yes.
I could see
Same.
Clarence Thomas
you
arguing
think it's
about
simple,
how
like even laymen like us could see that in the damn 14th Amendment it specifically counteracts this, but
you know Clarence Thomas already has a dissent just already fired up to tell us how it's actually against the Constitution to have this in the Constitution.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this amendment to the Constitution is unconstitutional.
We're finding it unconstitutional now after all these years. Just
Yeah.
no reason. Just no reason.
I agree with
Right.
all of that, and I think part of it is also to like add on to speculation and fatigue. But I want to add some of my crackpot theories on why they're doing this, and I don't think I think you're right. It is kind of a distraction to smokescreen because this seems insane. Why would this happen? But there's a couple other clauses in here. I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah, because it's also Section 3 is the rebellion and insurrection clause, where it says like no one should hold office. Uh, really, no one should hold office that has engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the Senate, or whatever. So it's the rebellion and insurrection clause, and I thought it was validity of public debt for the U.S. and the population cap on this on the House, I think, is also in there. For some reason, I thought it was the you can't hold office unless you're a citizen, like born here. But I don't like. I think I just misread the uh, the insurrection clause. But that part's still kind of relevant to Trump.
Well, maybe
right?
I can see what you're getting at. Like maybe he's trying to wear this down because he himself could be viewed as fomenting insurrection against the United States government. Is that weird?
Right. Yeah, like it just seems like it's a very relevant amendment to be attacking for a lot of things, like both Trump personally and to his base. And there's been a lot of talk about ratifying the Constitution, both with Biden's and the Equal Right Amendment thing, bringing that up now,
Mhm.
and removing things in the amendment, both maybe the 14th or just like there's just been a lot of talk about ratifying the Constitution the last few years online, a lot of buzz about it. So I just feel like it's an interesting space to watch. Even though it might just be like more nothing, like everything else is. But
I mean, I mean, you can say there's 5D chess motives to this, and maybe I'm jumping ahead here, but I was listening to a discussion on another podcast, American Prestige, good ass podcast, where they were talking about the executive order to change the Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America, and how maybe an ulterior motive of that was to kind of push back against some of Mexico's maritime rights there. Some of their sovereign. I don't know what they're really called. Sea. Boundaries or whatever they're
because
called.
there is something, where, like you own, because like you own a certain amount of water space around.
Right.
I think that's
so basically turn into like a U.S. economic zone, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, a lot of these executive orders may seem
you
like
think it's for like getting more land for drilling, like they want to drill closer to Mexico.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you see how many oil derricks or whatever are there now. Like, maybe this could be a play for more of them. I don't know.
Oh.
I never know because like there's a constant back and forth of talking about like other countries as like being full of deplorables and like worse than us, and also they should be a part of us right now, be like the 52nd state, with Canada being the 51st. Like, so I don't know.
Yeah. Going back to the birthright citizenship thing though, like it's like bless you. Like it's ridiculous. Bless you.
Sorry. I don't know where the mute button is on my new mic, so I can't stop that.
Nah, you good, dude. But yeah, like it's ridiculous to me that like who's pushing this? A bunch of white people. Okay, how did their like ancestors become American citizens? They were born here. Okay, all right. So I mean, like, we really are not in a position to tell people like, that they can't be citizens just for being born here. Like,
Right. And the fact that we even have to have this like conversation of what makes a natural born citizen while like completely ignoring the indigenous population really
yes,
I
yes,
feel like is analogous to like all the state censorship we're talking about in China with Tiananmen Square and stuff. It's like we got all sorts of shit here we're not talking about. But also,
yep.
how do we talk about that? Because there are people who are here, and I don't think there'd be a I don't think there would be a very like people would agree that yeah we should probably give more land back to them. So I don't think anyone thinks the government's doing land acknowledgments though.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was more like a naive reading of this. Like when they're like, "Oh,
No, I think I get what you're saying. Like, this is like a way to like change the public perception as to who is an American. Like this is casting doubt on even people who were born here. Like, if you're not of the right heritage, like, are you really an American? That's I think that's the real goal of this.
even crazier, how do you factor in slaves for people who weren't citizens and then became
Right.
citizens later? It's not like did we retroactively make all slaves citizens like retroactively, or are we now going to be like, oh,
Well, that
like
was
your
the point
great
of the
grandfather's a slave, if he wasn't a citizen, so now you're not a citizen?
right. Well, that was part of the point of the 14th Amendment, was to get rid of that ambiguity that the South uh, exploited for so long, and even after continued to exploit.
Oh yeah, because
Until,
that's
like the Equal Rights Amendment.
yeah, that's what the oh yeah, because that's actually what Section 2 is. It was population cap, but it's literally to end the three-fifths compromise and say that
Right.
like everyone's counted as a whole person.
Right, because think about it after the Civil War. Like, if you didn't have just straight birthright citizenship, how would you have factored that in for formerly enslaved people? You
Yeah,
know what I'm
people who
saying?
weren't
Like,
even counted as people until just then.
right. So that's why, and what happened to American exceptionalism? Like, Trump himself said this, like, when he signed it, we're the only country that does this. We're the best. It's like this is a great America does. Like, I think that's, to me, that's poetry right there. So
Yeah.
why
And
take
like,
that away? Because other countries don't do it. Like, other countries don't give you universal health care. You don't see Trump signing that, for no reason. So
Yeah. I think there really is like a split amongst Americans right now between those who believe in the great American melting pot and those who don't.
what's interesting though, like apparently, like there's a poll done, and like
Man,
most Americans are actually like against this executive order. Like most Americans support birthright citizenship.
yeah. Well, even Fox News was talking about like how because a lot of Americans kind of think because like there's that split between like immigration, if it should be harder or if it should be easier, but because a lot of people had that opinion, they viewed it as, oh, every American wants immigration reform, and that's why what Trump's doing with this stuff is good. uh,
right.
which is an insane way to spin this, but that's kind of
Yeah,
how it's
I
being
mean,
spun to
this is,
us.
yeah. I mean, that's the standard reactionary move, right? Is
Right,
to
because they
just
think it's like, oh,
reduce
people,
everything down to like get rid of the subtleties and
because they're
you
saying
know,
by ending this, they're going to stop the mass immigration waves of people coming in just to get the anchor babies.
right.
That's like
Yeah.
what they think is happening, and why this is good.
Which how often can that really be happening?
I don't know, man. Even if it is, like, why do I care?
Automatically having a baby, like, come on, like, give me a break. And even so, who gives it?
Even if it is happening all the time, why do I care? That person who came in, their
Yeah.
baby, they're now tax-paying U.S. citizens. They can play baseball. They can work at McDonald's. What's the issue?
No, but you see,
Right. And I thought the right.
I was gonna say, like you see, Calvin. The issue is that they need to divide and conquer us, so we don't keep our eyes on the oligarchs that are screwing all of us over.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I just think it's ironic that all these JD Vance motherfuckers are talking about let's have more babies. Meanwhile, a fresh young population like that is trying to come in all the time, and
Yeah.
ready to work, ready to bring family values, ready to do all this other stuff. And
Right? We used to do something with
you
all
know,
these
what's the
people.
difference?
We used to build infrastructure in this country.
Right.
Not that we should do it like we did back then, where we're like pressing Chinese immigrants to build the railroads, but we could do like a national labor corps or something. Like just we got infrastructure and it's built and replaced.
No.
We got people.
Progress and cool.
Yeah,
I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
yeah. Which I don't even think is that crazy. Just re-up some FDR stuff. Just put people.
Yeah, I mean, and like especially after seeing like high speed rail on like Shaohongshu, like that shit blew my mind, dude.
Right? Because I think the main issue was no one wants to invest in anything. So it's like all this stuff of like, oh, put people to work, build infrastructure, build high speed rail. It all just kind of costs money to like maintain and build and train a workforce. And because that costs money, no one wants to pay for it. So it just doesn't get done. And they're like, oh, we can't build stuff in this
Yeah.
country anymore. And it's like, yeah, we can. We have the resources, we have the money, we have the people. Just no one wants to spend money on stuff like that.
They don't want to spend money on it because there's not an immediate return on investment.
Right.
And the capitalist class, they just need their short-term gains.
Which is crazy though, because like
Right.
I don't know, it just seems wild that like not investing in the working class like that. Like because if you have a strong working class, they just have more to you to extract from, even if you're thinking about it like that. Like if we all just have more money, don't we just all have more money? We just buy more stuff.
Yeah.
Who are they selling all this stuff
the
to?
thing
Is what I'm getting at. Like who are we? What are we doing all this for? If like we're just everyone's getting poorer and poorer. Like what's all the stuff for?
Right. What is all this stuff?
Like everyone's just a service worker. Who are we servicing? Like what's happening?
Yeah.
I mean, that just goes to show how inefficient, the capitalist mode of production is, even by its own merits. Not to get too like theoretical with this, but
Well, yeah, because like a lot of
it
places
can only prioritize gains in the short term so that you get your CEO bonus at the end of the year, and the board can say you had X amount of growth in the quarter. It doesn't matter if it means whatever down the line. It's not factored into the equation.
Yep.
that's crazy, man.
And true to the theory, like the contradictions are getting way, way, way too sharp now.
Yeah, the voices are getting louder.
Yeah,
That's right. John
Just
Brown's
like Josh
body
Allen.
moldering in the grave.
Yeah.
I don't think he was like a working class icon, but Pete Seeger sang the songs. That counts. That's like an American folk song. That's why they don't want you learning about that in school. Imagine if we
He
had
was a
learned
cool guy.
Imagine if we had learned to sing John Brown's Body instead of like All Along the Merrimack or 15 Miles on the Erie Canal.
Yeah.
yeah.
Columbia, gem of the ocean.
Yeah. Oh man, that's why Edward Norton's gonna win all the Oscars, or not gonna win all the Oscars, because they don't want to kickstart the modern worker revolution by getting everybody Pete Seeger pilled.
I still haven't seen that movie.
That's pretty good. We're gonna go see it again tomorrow, I think.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Johnny Cash as a tertiary love interest to Bob Dylan.
They get gay with it.
Yes and no, because like not explicit. It's more just like because like
Implied?
the two yeah, because like he's got the two like main love interests with Sylvie something or other. I don't know her name. Who's on the cover of the Freewheeling Bob Dylan and Joan Baez, where like they're just like talking to him about his music and like where he comes from and how his music is and what the relationship with his music is and like genre and whatnot. Where like Sylvie wants to know Bob Dylan where he comes from and where the music comes from, but he doesn't want to be pinned down, and Joan wants him to be like who people think Bob Dylan is and be like this folk star and all that, but he doesn't want to be pinned down there. But then Johnny Cash comes in and spends a lot of time just telling him to just be himself and go have fun with it. Like he's the only one just happy for Bob Dylan to be Bob Dylan. But like in a way that like he's played off as a minor character, but also talks directly to Bob Dylan more than anyone else except the two girls do. So it's kind of funny.
Johnny Cash. Hello, I'm Johnny Cash.
Yeah. That and like Bob Dylan's funny and Johnny Cash is like, the comedic relief.
Nice.
Because he kind of just pops in.
Timmy does a good job playing Bobby.
Dude, he is Bob Dylan. Like he just became Bob Dylan. That's it. It's pretty good.
Dude.
Some of the bit like only half them where he's just like walking around with sunglasses, just like walking around. It's like, man, that's Bob Dylan right there.
Yeah. Did you see that episode of him on a college game day where he was like, he like totally got like the best predictions out of everyone there?
Bob Dylan or Timothy Chalamet?
Tim Chalamet. They like had him on like college game day, and like he was like predicting like all the wins like for college football that day, and like everyone doubted him, but he was like totally just screaming it out like,
"Oh,
I think LSU's gonna destroy this other team."
That's why he did a good Bob Dylan, because he himself is the Queesock Siderak, like Bob Dylan is.
Yeah, he's the GOAT.
I don't know how there's two.
Didn't he used to have like a channel?
Yeah. He like reviewed modded Xbox 360 controllers. I forgot about that.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah. There's definitely a chance that we asked Timothy Chalamet if he was a girl on Call of Duty lobbies in high school.
Yeah. Are you guys girls?
You guys girls?
That's awesome. Going back to the executive order, so I like just before the show actually, like I was reading that Trump signed one basically ending Schedule F, which from like my understanding, basically Schedule F is sort of this protocol where you would hire basically like non-political like government bureaucrats for like the grunt work. But by doing this executive order, Trump's basically trying to hire like MAGA loyalists apparently.
Yeah, that's pretty standard for all his orders. Like the WHO withdrawal, he ordered them all to like stop working with them. Like they can't talk to the public and all that now.
Right, the World Health Organization.
Yeah. Right as we're getting like all the bird flu outbreaks.
Yeah.
Which is actually what's causing the price of eggs to go up. That's why they don't. That's part of the reason why I bet he doesn't want people talking about it. It's, you can't blame Bo Jiden for all the eggs if everyone knows about the bird flu.
Yeah, I mean, he already said, like, it's going to take a while to get grocery prices down, and it's like, how long is the American public going to sacrifice for your ideological project? Like, ask Joe Biden how that went with Ukraine.
I'm already seeing the conservative equivalent of 800 plus 1200 is 2000 about the price of eggs.
Yeah.
It's like, you think the president can control the grocery
just look
prices?
at the most recent thing with Colombia. Like, we get so much coffee from Colombia. Like, what do Americans drink every goddamn morning?
Like, apparently Colombia is like our actual biggest trading partner. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, I mean, like, we get just everything from
coffee, grapes,
oil,
cocaine. Yeah. Like, this is gonna drive the price of the brick like way up, which I mean, I'm happy about.
I think we're gonna have the problem with cartels then. They're gonna be I don't know. Is that good or bad for business? They'll probably be happy that it's more expensive.
Price just went up For real.
Right? Because like people don't want less. That's I guess the thing about cocaine is that demand is like infinite. Like
Yeah.
people just don't stop needing coke once they. I don't know. I feel like there's demand for it. 'Cause, like,
Yeah.
so who cares if the price goes up? They just make more money. He's funding the cartels inadvertently.
Right. Yeah.
He's funding the cartels that he wants to
Well,
bomb.
because everybody knows if like the trade's too complicated, you got to go through the backwater markets. So if he's doing all these trade wars and tariffs and all that, the smuggling game, the cartel game, that's going to go like that. That's the stock to be invested in right now.
Yeah. Right. But I mean, all of these things, like he's putting like think of all the targets of the tariffs that he's threatened so far: Canada, Mexico, China. These are all the U.S.'s biggest trading partners. You know, like
Yeah, and like literally all of our stuff is made in China. Like,
yeah, like you think the U.S. is gonna reindustrialize like before things become like a cajillion dollars, like it's Japan, like you know, you spend $1 million on an orange, like
Well, that's the
no,
like
yeah.
that's like one of the crackpot theories I've been reading is that a lot of the deportation and birthright citizen stuff is so they can start rounding up, just anyone, and throwing them into the private prison camps to use them for labor. I don't know if we're building like factories for them to do anything like substantial with yet, but
I can
because they
see
were
that.
rounding up like anyone, like Navajo citizens, like, just whenever
Right,
they were doing all
school
that nonsense.
children.
Yeah. Uh, and if we're trying to deport them and they're like, oh, well, we're not going to accept the deed and they come back, like, what do we do with them? And now, we're just back to World War II again.
Right.
So yeah, I hope we don't reindustrialize or reindustrialize in a good way. I don't know why we have to go about that. That's what I guess it's cheaper, maybe. Like, I just don't know what the end game is. Like, why?
Or it's another fantasy for jobs. You know, it's you're gonna be able to be, you know, get your job at the '50s racism factory and be able to come home and you know
That's the factory that Weird Al's
afford
dad
your
worked in.
house and everything. But like just the nature of the global economy has changed in that that's not a possibility anymore.
Yeah,
Like no
exactly.
matter how many tariffs, no matter how many like protectionist policies you put in place, like that's just not realistic anymore.
Yeah, like that doesn't work like when you have like zero manufacturing like capability like in your country.
Right.
Right, but
And
even
then
then, it's like outside of arms, what do we even manufacture to sell? Like, you can't. No one has enough money to buy
Exactly.
stuff. It's like you can't just manufacture
Yeah.
junk
when
like China does because we're the ones buying it. We can't buy it at American labor prices, even though we don't pay
Yeah.
our labor that much anyway. Just don't know. I don't know how any of this works anymore.
yeah.
I still keep thinking about
I
that.
think it's honestly like just a distraction just for like all the people to get like flag boners. Like, yeah, we're doing stuff. Meanwhile, like shit's just gonna get even more expensive.
Right, right, because it's like a
Yeah.
tangible thing. Like I said, there's that call and effect. Like they say, they're blaming something on this, and now they're doing something about this. Yay, team! I think is
Yeah.
how a lot of the logic there works. Which is why they're winning elections because it's something tangible. It's not good,
They
Right.
know how to throw
but
good meat
it's
to their base.
again like we're talking about. It's not a graph to look at.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
else we got?
I just got the two headline. The Columbia stuff we just talked about. The last thing I have is just DeepSeek. All the DeepSeek stuff that's happened, which we kind of talked about.
Yeah.
So yeah, DeepSeek is a large language model, which shook confidence in U.S. dominance in generative AI, may not initially seem like a negative catalyst for NVIDIA, considering DeepSeek's model was trained on NVIDIA's GPUs. A Chinese company said it only spent 5.6 million on NVIDIA technology to develop its model. Though experts speculate this is a gross underestimate, it still upsets the core thesis behind NVIDIA's stock's meteoric rise. Soared from 4.8 billion to 66 billion in 2024 thanks to a large part demand for its GPUs, which fetch up to $25,000 a piece. So the general gist is that however they trained this model, they did it for a lot cheaper and did not need piles of all the NVIDIA tech to do it. And so now it's causing just like this absolute massive crash. NVIDIA's lost 600 billion in market capitalization today. And just like tech stocks all over the US are plummeting because it's like this whole AI bubble was built on like give us more resources, more money, more microchips, and we'll like automate all labor forever. And now China's like, hey, you can just do it with way less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing, so I'm seeing a lot of people talk about how this is undercutting, a huge part of the stock growth in the United States is the tech bubble, if you will, around AI. And, as they should, because that's an important piece. But I think something that's under discussed is the importance of Taiwan on the international scale, because a big reason why the U.S. is so protective of Taiwan is because they're a huge producer of these computer chips that until this DeepSeek thing came out, everyone thought was going to be the lifeblood of, the new tech century. And now that we're showing with this DeepSeek thing that maybe it's not as well needed, what does this say about China's attitude toward invading Taiwan? How does that factor into the equation? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think it's a general like just weakening of the U.S. on a global scale.
Right.
If China doesn't need Taiwan, then like the U.S. doesn't. We're not gonna like pull out. We're not gonna stop having the presence in the Pacific Islands like that. But if there's no like Chinese war drums to beat, how do we justify these continuing like occupations and expenditures?
Mm-hmm.
And then
It's just another.
Right?
I was just gonna say it's just another. It's just another area where China's just clowning us. Like,
right.
You know.
Because like, why would countries need the U.S. as much if China's not gonna be expanding like we thought we keep telling everybody they are? If they're just gonna keep doing nothing and providing benefits and whatever they're doing, spreading propaganda out through cheap goods and services to the workers of the world. Like,
yeah, shout out to Robbie.
That's right.
Uh,
like it just weakens us. Like, why do we need the U.S.? Why does the like what is this like external protection coming from? Like, how does this change like the global like world? Is the U.S. is the super cop and the superpower if people just don't need to rely on the U.S. for anything as much?
Well, I mean, just look at what Chuck Schumer tweeted a few hours ago. This is
the Sputnik moment.
The Sputnik moment, right?
This is where we dump all our money in to try to win Cold War II the same way we won Cold War One.
Yeah.
What if that's what's happening and like the DeepSeek's a fake and it's just to trick us to doing that like we did the USSR and Star Wars?
The Star Wars. I wouldn't doubt it, honestly. Like, I don't know. I like it. Like you've seen, Nvidia has lost more than any company ever since the last time
Yeah, I think the
Nvidia.
last. It's
Yeah.
crazy. The two most times that country has lost money in history, like the top two are Nvidia in the last like 3 years.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. No, I can
It's all
I can
fake.
totally see China playing that angle of like trying to do to us like what we did to the Soviet Union. Like
And
it's
and
actually pretty brilliant.
because the U.S. subscribes to the madman theory of international politics.
That's right.
Mhm.
That's right. And
So,
Americans love being number one. So if they think China's number one, you know for sure we're gonna start dumping money in to try to be better.
right.
Mhm.
And I wonder what kind of, anti, because the U.S. loves to be free market until it comes to China.
Yeah.
China. Like, how many Huawei phones do you see in the U.S.? How many, friggin'? I mean, just look at the TikTok ban. TikTok was better than all the American products, so they found a way to just get rid of it
Mhm.
for no reason. Like, it spies on people. What other tech
You're
company
the U.S.
doesn't
government.
spy?
You're already spying on me.
Like, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter if it's the government, if it's fucking McDonald's, like, stealing my cookies or whatever. Like, it's all the same shit. Like,
Yeah.
it's not about that. It's about, like, how can we, like, put red tape around China so that they can't compete with the US on a global scale.
Right. Because it
And
really
that's what
seems.
I would not be surprised at all if somehow there's some kind of new restriction on being able to use deep what is it called, deep seek in the next fucking week or so. Like,
Yeah.
it's not about, like, privacy protection, national security at all. It's cutting China out of the global
And they're going
market.
to do this, like you said, immediately. It's going to be very quick. Which again just goes to show that they can do whatever they want when they want. They just don't want to do anything popular.
The only reason they
Or
haven't
helpful.
done it sooner is because they didn't know this was coming. This came out of left field and they weren't prepared for it.
Nancy Pelosi knew it was coming though, and she just
Well,
decided not to
yeah.
tell everyone.
Stock trader. Put her on the friggin'
That's what I'm
floor,
saying.
right?
What did she know? And when did she know it? Nancy
She always
Pelosi.
knows.
Because like it's not even that she's a Chinese spy. She'd be like a capitalist Chinese spy. You know what I mean? Like just doing it for the
Yeah.
money. Can't have
Someone
that.
ought to a mutual fund that's just Nancy Pelosi's like portfolio, like in all her, like, timed with all her trades and everything. She ought to be a friggin' portfolio manager, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, they should have. If the Trump government did want to invest, like you said, quote unquote, invest in AI architecture, one, that's funny as hell now that we know it's super dirt cheap, and two, I feel like investing in AI tech bros in 2025 is just giving them money. Like, which I know is investing for anything, but like they're not going to give you anything back. You're just just throwing it away.
Yeah, and I mean,
Hawk 2.0 is about lifting people up.
it's just like, even if you invest in it, like, it doesn't seem like the U.S. has the capability to make the same thing. I mean, not only is the AI put out a better product, it uses way less energy, which is one of the biggest problems with AI. Is like, anytime you want to generate a photo of Hank Hill, like fucking Hank Hill or whatever, like, it costs like enough electricity to power a football field. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's absurd.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy. If you wanted to see Hank Hill's
Well, we're
black
on
or
the subject of
Chinese, you're out of luck.
Yeah.
well, while we're on the subject of China, should we talk about our experiences with Xiaohong Shu?
I mean, it's pretty fun. I don't really know how to use it or Instagram or TikTok. I just kind of like scroll through it. Uh, that's fun.
I love Xiao Shu. I had no idea what I was doing when I created my Xiao Hong Shu account. I was immediately met with Chinese characters, and then it was like, "What are you into?" And it was just more Chinese characters. So I picked 5, which was the limit to create a Xiao Hong Shu account, and I've been enjoying it ever since. It's a lot of like cats on kayaks. A lot of people like just like throwing like raw rabbits onto like a wok and just like stirring them around.
Yeah,
It's good stuff.
I get a lot of like
Yeah.
contraptions and like guns.
Contrap-
Funnily enough, like I feel like Chinese, like they love their guns over there.
Yeah, I found that like the algorithm, like once you like get through like the Chinese character barrier and all that stuff, and then like you start like following people
I don't know
and
what the social media is
like
saying
I
in
found that
English,
like
so I'm fine with it being in Chinese. I don't know what they were saying anyway.
yeah, and like but like I found that like once you get through that and like you figure out how to navigate it, like the algorithm is actually like way better than like Facebook and shit. I've been like I've been like getting like weird well, like recommendations in like marketplace for like just the most random shit that like I never even like think to like buy, like
Yeah.
weird ass like antiques and shit. But like in Xiaohong Shu, like it's like I'm literally just getting everything that like I actually liked showing up on my feed. I'm like, okay, it's cool. It's also been very illuminating on a lot of facts about Chinese life that we were lied to about.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I love that propaganda. I don't even care that they're lying to me because they're lying to me in a way that like makes me feel good, and that's fine. Like the U.S. government doesn't ever do that with their propaganda. It's all like you should be mad at someone else. It's like I don't want to be mad at someone else, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I want to pretend my life is all about like fishing in my with my cats
Right.
in my dugout boat.
Right? Because like theirs is just like, look, a better life is possible. Glory to the CCP, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, they're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
They're just right.
Yeah, I love Xiao Hong Shu.
It's been my experience with it. They're very pro Luigi Mangione.
Yeah. Yeah, I was surprised by that. I was like, wow, they actually know who he is.
Yeah, they love
That's
that.
crazy.
There was also, at least when I was on there the most, there was a lot of like Americans who were thinking TikTok was going to get banned.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, now that TikTok's back, now it's just like I feel like it's pretty much
Is
the
it
same.
back to being Chinese? I haven't really been on it.
No, I don't know. Maybe because like I'm Western, so I'm still getting it, but I feel like not everyone moved back to TikTok.
There's actually a there on Xiaohong Shu now. There actually is like a translate feature.
Oh yeah, so you can like see what everyone's saying. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, you can see what they're saying. They can see what you're saying. It's pretty cool.
Almost
Yeah.
every single comment I've read has been like the most soul crushing commentary on American life I've ever read in my life. It's great.
Yeah, that that's pretty common. And then my favorite account is probably there's this guy who there's this Chinese guy who does like the best Donald Trump impression I've ever heard in my life.
I mean, I think he was on TikTok, so but yeah, he's the
Oh, he was
best.
on TikTok.
Well, wait, there was. Oh yeah, that guy.
That guy's the best.
There's also that guy who's Chinese and he like looks like Elon Musk, right?
Oh yeah, I've
yeah.
seen that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, that guy's funny.
It's good. You guys should all get on that. follow us on Xiaongshu. We got to make a contemporary current so we can get the monetization line to the CCP open.
Right.
Dude, there's a guy that bought like 3 like big ass meals for like less than $4. I'm like, God damn, son.
Yeah. They were like, this building's 50 stories, doesn't have an elevator, so how do you like use it? And they're like, oh, it's just they just have streets on like a bunch of the levels, so like you can just go to the top floor from the street level.
Yeah, some guy
Like, they just
that I've
built
been
their
messaging.
they just like built their
Like,
city around
he
having
told
big
me
ass buildings.
some guy I was messaging. He told me that like he got like 20 days off for his honeymoon, and like I confirmed like those were days off that he got from the government, and then he also got like 10 days off for his wedding too.
Damn.
We don't even get every federal holiday off with America.
Nope.
That's oh, it's so funny.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure some people do, but it's funny when I like talk to old people and they like talk about like what it was like working before, and it's like now it's like, yeah, you don't get holiday pay. You just show up and work until you die. There you go.
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like,
Which I is like fine.
you
I
know,
don't even
some
know
of
if I
it, like,
hate that. I just would like it to be enough, you know?
yeah. And like, you know, some people might say like, oh, it's just propaganda, but I mean, like, I don't know, man. Like a lot of I've been seeing like a lot of like consistently good stuff on Xiao Hongshu. And, you know, and again, just going back to like the whole like infrastructure thing, like seeing their like high speed rail, and then yeah, just hearing that some dude just gets like a shitload of time off for like major like life like milestone events. Like, I don't think it's all that as bad as we say it is.
I keep thinking about that thing in Japan they tell us where it's like they quiet fire you, just like stop giving you work and like shame you into quitting. I feel like I can nail that. Like they'd have to fire me if there was that company.
Yeah.
That's what life should be about. You should just be paid to like be a parasite in the system. That's what it should be. That's what the system should be for.
What?
I don't know why that was relevant. I'm sorry. That's just what I was thinking about right there.
Well, I was about to bring up something totally different in
That's
that.
good.
What's going on with the new James Gunn Superman movie? And why is everyone so contentious about that 3-second clip of Superman flying through the ice?
I have no idea. I never know what's going on with.
Someone says, "I hate Twitter. This is good, actually," in response to that weird clip of him doing weird.
I actually hadn't really seen any. The problem is hard to tell like what's an actual opinion, what's the opinion everyone's talking about, and what's people just like making jokes and being funny. So that one I can't tell. I have no idea. I think it looks a little weird, but like not enough where I'm like I hate this. It kind of looks a little odd.
Which almost makes it funnier.
Yeah.
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 Like there is like a weird like sort of
right.
Because like he's CGI, you know
What's
he's CGI, so like you kind of, I feel like on his face you can kind of like see the seams where like his face is like on a CGI model or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
That's
there definitely is some sort of weird like uncanny valley thing going on in the trailers that I've seen.
But like, how much of that is because we're just like watching this half-second clip over and over and over again?
Because people keep posting it like, "Oh, this sucks. Oh, this is good, actually." What do people talk? It's like it's just a weird.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
I don't know how I
I
feel
don't know.
about it.
I'm watching it right now. It's freaking.
I don't have like positive or negative feelings about
Can we pull it up?
Okay.
Let me link it.
Just search Superman.
Let's just
Gotta
watch
be right
it a
here,
million times on stream and see if it gets weird. Okay, I'm sending it.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Oh wait, I found one.
I found it.
Oh, you got it? Yeah, pull it up.
don't
Pull
know.
it up as full screen as you can.
Where's the web?
Okay.
The current.
Yeah, look at that.
There we go.
What do we see in here?
If I look at it like super decompressed like that, it's not too bad.
Yeah, this one doesn't look as bad as like the original trailer that I saw.
Like it's like
Just quality aside, like just something about his face is so funny to me.
I keep seeing
His
like
eyes look off, right?
like the
one eye is
seams.
pointing.
Oh, he's got a little bit of like the cock eye. He's a little wall-eyed.
Yeah.
I think I saw someone saying like his Superman's new power to look two directions at once. But like I keep seeing the like seams around his like eyes, where it's like maybe it's like wind into his cheekbones, but it looks like you can just see where like they just like put his eyes on like the CGI model or something, like when they
Yeah.
touched it up.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, maybe it's just like him and a green screen. I don't know how they did this.
His like just something about the expression on his face.
It is a pretty weird expression.
Like he kind of has a weird like smile to it a little bit.
Like it almost looks like he's like holding in like a fart or something.
Yeah.
What does he know that we don't know? Like he's like trying not to laugh at us.
Yeah. He almost kind of looks like and I hate to say this, but he kind of looks autistic a little bit.
He's gonna start doing the autistic salute soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's not really making an emotional face that vibes with what's the standard, you know. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
He has a dog in this movie too, right?
That's right.
He does.
Nicholas Holt was Lex Luthor. I'm excited for.
Yeah, he looks like Dan Henschel,
Yeah, it really does.
who's going to jail apparently because he said he was going to shoot up his school.
Like 10 years ago, he was talking about like now how he may have almost shot a school up like, in the past.
Yeah, posted since because I looked and that was real.
I saw a
Like
thing
that.
where he's got like an upcoming documentary, and it's like he records hundreds of takes of himself screaming in the car to get the best one.
He really is the best.
I can't. Yeah.
The Bel Air Police Department was real.
That was like the first 2025 prediction I saw too. Someone being like, Dan Henschel gets arrested. But 2 weeks later, he got arrested.
That's funny that he went to Bel Air High School, just like the Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
The French Prince Software.
I never really thought about it.
So fun. I like how he didn't take the post down too. It's still there.
Which one? The one where he
The
says,
one that says he was gonna shoot his school.
why would
He
you
was
take
like,
it down? It's a good bit.
It's funny as fuck.
That man knows what a good bit is.
He's so funny.
My favorite still is like, oh, I guess you can't do Joker Hitler today.
Yeah. But yeah,
That's like true. He's like
he takes a picture from inside like a gun store, like with the Joker makeup. He's like, they said no. Back to the drawing.
Oh my god. Oh.
He's the best. But yeah, they should have him direct a Superman movie.
It's quite possibly the truest statement in American politics. I thought I could do Joker Hitler today, but I can't. I thought I was better, but I'm not. It feels so standing alone.
Oh my god.
He's right. You can't do Joker Hitler. You can do Joker. You can do Hitler, but you can't do Joker Hitler. You're sad and alone.
Oh.
Like everybody's got the one bit they love. That's mine. Joker Hitler. Very
He's-
brave. He's so brave for doing that. Dan Henschel was very brave for this.
Yeah.
Was very brave a Family Guy.
Yeah, well, shout out.
Shout out to Family Guy.
Said that. We won't mention him here, though.
We already did. We already
We're going to
shouted out
send
to
him to the re-education camp.
Usually I'm the one making like the crazy analogies, but I don't know where that one was going. I never know. I never know where my analogies are going, so that doesn't help. Trying to get back to the current.
Do we have any predictions for the next week?
Predictions.
Let's get ahead of it, just in case we have to skip another week of contemporary current. What's going to happen?
What's going to happen this week?
I think we're going to see a major escalation in the West Bank. Israeli, the IDF, they've already they've already invaded the Jenin refugee camp and killed, I think, like 30 people.
I'm hoping we see something tragic happen to Musk. That's my prediction. That's what I want to hope happens this week.
That would be fun.
I don't know what.
That would be nice.
Even if it's something little, like they finally banned him on Path of Exile 2 or something. Just anything. That's
Yeah, because he got fully exposed on that shit.
That was
right.
hilarious.
That's like because no one cares about Diablo
Like,
4. No one. Like you that Path of Exile, people care about that. That's like.
Didn't he say like something about like there were like some gloves that are actually pretty good, and he was like, they're not good because something. I forget. I don't know. I don't play the game.
He
But
was
apparently,
like he was like confused about like item levels and versus like required level. I don't know. I'm still in like Act 2 of Path of Exile 2. I don't know any like the end game crap that they're doing.
yeah, I never played it.
It's fine. It's like not finished because it's early access, so it's literally like a third of the game. So people are like mad that it's a third of the game and slower than their like end of life, like fully optimized, like solved Path of Exile. That's really it.
It's free, right? That's what people say.
Yeah, one's free. Two's not until it comes out early access.
Oh, I see.
You gotta pay $30 for the early access. Which for an AR, it's not bad. Though the Grim Dawn expansion's hitting this year, that's probably gonna be way better than anything else anyway. Shout out to Grim Dawn. Great entertainment. If you guys want to come on the show, if you're watching this, if someone who works at the, I think they're from Boston actually. I keep thinking they're like Slavic for some reason, but yeah, the Grim Dawn comes from Boston.
That's what's up. They should call it a Grim.
That's probably why I like it so much. It really
Grim Donkin.
It really like captures the feel of New England. I think there's always like the Elder Tours and the fucking blood ritualists and the teal ghost guys. Like they got all the New England classics in there.
Scarecrows.
That's right.
That's cool. I like that.
I don't actually have anything else. I think we covered everything I made up.
Yeah, I think that's good.
I feel like we're at. I feel like this is definitely circling the drain.
I did just think of one thing that I probably should have thought of like an hour ago. So going back to Trump's inauguration, like I do think it is very striking that he was basically surrounded by all the major tech bros like Jeff
Oh
Bezos was
yeah,
there. Mark Zuckerberg was there.
yeah. That's right. They
I
all
mean,
were. They
and
had better
Oh yeah,
seats than his cabinet.
yeah. That was something else I wanted to bring up because on Fox News they were talking about how Trump is anti-establishment, and
Mhm.
I'm like, how far can you take the anti-establishment shit when
Fox News, the biggest
literally
media
the
outlet.
three richest men in the world are standing behind you at your inauguration? You had fucking Musk, Bezos, and Zuck. Like,
Yeah. It's
It's
and
like
crazy.
all the Republican Party is with you. The Democrats,
they're half with you.
they're half with you. We
They're-
saw with Hakeem Jeffries, he's letting God take the wheel. Jesus take the fucking wheel.
Look at our fucking reps, dog. We're gonna die.
Yeah, like, can we just please just, whether it's for the best or not, say Trump is the establishment now? Like,
He is. It's not even like
He
close.
is.
He is. He's literally been dominating politics for the last 10 years.
yeah,
Like he's
Yeah,
he
yeah.
is the establishment.
Like he is the establishment, and he's rendered the phrase anti-establishment just completely meaningless now.
Right?
And like just seeing all those oligarchs in the same room as him, it reminded me of that phrase that fascism is capitalism in decline. It's the sort of like the when you break the emergency glass, that's when you get fascism.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's all. I mean, it's not even like that. Everything I don't like is fascism. Like we're seeing it beat for beat with like the national identity politics, the outing of others, the like kind of like inter-class warfare, blaming the problems on outside, like no, and keeping a core patriotic identity. Uh, like it's just almost exactly like Mussolini branded fascismo or whatever.
right.
Like textbook. Yeah.
Right, like it's not even. It's wild, but they'll tell you like, oh, because you paid attention to all that, you're psycho, and like, how dare you connect dots? And you're putting words into people's mouths, and it's not that big a deal. It's just a weird autistic gesture.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like how Howling Mutant today was crying about how Noah Cohen called him a Nazi for saying Jews should feel bad about communism, and then he quote tweeted me with a little like Oprah shrug, like when I called him out on that. Like, just be real with it. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
why hide from all that?
and I hate the like, oh, bad stuff happened under communism because it's like, what good has happened under U.S. imperialism across the world?
Right.
Yeah.
We have iPhones. I guess that's it.
And I mean, all that aside from the point that apparently Jews are as much responsible for communism as Germans are for Nazism, like going back to that whole Twitter thing I was involved in earlier, but
Yeah,
which is just wild. But
absolutely.
anyway,
Especially when tied with the Nazis party's very like vehement, like staunch opposition to communism.
right? Yeah, they're the same thing because Nazi has National Socialism,
And they were red.
and Hitler loved communism.
There's no. Don't think about why they were red or socialism in the name. Don't just
Yeah.
just equate them because they're similar. That's it.
Yeah,
Pay no attention to the fact that Hitler cracked down on all the unions in Germany.
and took power by blaming the communists for
Yeah.
trying to destroy Germany. It's like, you need to put me in charge to stop the communists from taking over Germany. But no, forget that. I'm a communist.
Yeah. Didn't even stop them from taking over Germany. That's why he shot himself in the bunker.
That's true. That's a good point.
All right. Well, I think that's a good show. Place to end
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hour and a half ish.
That's a good one. A big
Thank
boy.
you, everyone. Shout out to friend of the show, Elsa Hack. If she's watching, I think she had surgery or something on her shoulder.
Oh shit.
Oh snap!
Yep. Get well
Yeah,
soon.
so hopefully she's good. Yeah, wishing everyone a speedy recovery.
Yeah.